to take care of yourself, right? You told me, right? I think, are you taking any medications? I think you're taking some medication, right? Or you're just, okay, I hope that you get better. Well, you have this weekend, right? You have to try to rest this weekend, and I hope that you get better very soon, Gina. Okay, let's hope that that's the case. But again, I hope again that happened, Gina. We're going to start with the class now. Yesterday, or sorry, the day before yesterday, we were covering the first lesson. I don't know if you have any questions about that lesson before starting the new lesson that we have for today, Gina, or if you were able to experiment with Pearson, if you have any questions about the platform, please let me know about the questions and the doubts that you have now before we can start with the class itself. Let me know, please, Gina.
For the moment, I don't have questions. I did the activities in the person.
Okay, very good. So if you don't have the questions or doubts about it, it means that we can continue working now. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. It's taking a, I don't know what's happening. Please, let's wait a little bit. I'm going to disconnect all my devices to start. All right. So I don't know what happened. It's taking a long time. Okay, now it worked. I don't know, it just froze, but now it's working. We work with the simple present, right? And we know that we can, well, use this to give ideas about descriptions, right? General descriptions related to ourselves, right? We can talk about the family that we got. We can talk about our studies. We can talk about likes, dislikes, so on and so forth, right? We know that. We also know the formula. We're not going to cover this because this is a review. You know that with I, we, you, they, you use the base verb. If it's negative, you use don't. If it's a question, you're going to invert, right? I like pasta, I don't like pasta. You know that because I realized because of your examples, right? Then you have he, she, it, and that's with third person, right? The verb plus s or es. And if it's negative, it is going to be doesn't. And if it's a question, does he, does she, right? That's very basic. So we're not going there. Instead, we're going to work directly with the present continuous. So this time, please, Gina, I'm going to ask you to read everything just to reinforce this knowledge. Let's read the explanation plus the examples, Gina.
Okay, we use this sense to talk about things that are happening right now, things that are happening for a specific period of time, and to put emphasis on an activity. I am studying for the tests. She is reading in the library. They are not going to the park. They are, oh no, we're learning a lot this month.
Okay, great. Now, we use the present continuous not only for things that are happening right now, right? That's not only the case. It is one of the possibilities. But we also use the present continuous to talk about things that are happening for a specific period of time, right? It means this month, right? It means this semester. It means this year, right? So the last example is one, right, representation of that. We are learning a lot this month, right? So this is not now. Perhaps right now you're not learning. At this exact moment, you are not. But in this month, you are learning. Okay, so once again, it means that we don't use the present continuous for things that we are doing right now exactly, but we are doing that for a period of time, or we are putting emphasis on a specific activity. Okay, so we're going to practice this by writing some examples. Gina, you know that you can let me know if you have questions, but if you don't, we are going to remember we have our classwork. So this time, please, to see that you can find it, that you have access to everything, please, Gina, go to Google Classroom, go to classwork, and look for the file that we are using. Open that file, and in that file, you have the things that we've been doing, right? Please, I need you to write some ideas in the present continuous. All right, you are going to tell me things that you are doing now, that you are not doing now, and you're going to also tell me things that you are doing this week, this month, this semester, all right, and things that you are not doing. Okay, so it's going to be at least one thing that you are doing right now, one thing that you are not doing right now, plus one thing that you are doing this month or this semester, plus one thing that you are not doing in that exact period of time. So let me know, please, if you have any questions, Gina. If not, we are going to have 4 minutes to finish, okay? 1 minute per example, and we check what you got. So do you have any questions before starting? Let me know, please. All right, if there are no questions,
No, not teacher.
okay, good. So let's begin then, please. I have the timer over here. Please, we are going to have 4 minutes. We check in that time. Okay, so it's about to be 4 minutes. And okay, good. So those were the 4 minutes. Let's check the examples that we got. Ina, I'm going to go there. And I'm here with you. So let's read everything you got, please.
Okay. I am learning about costing systems this month. I am going to the gym for 2 weeks. I am reading a book in my free time. I am doing my English homework since Tuesday.
Okay, thank you very much, Ina. Yes, it seems to be working good. Only one thing we are going to say, this is great, all right? But if we want to talk about the beginning of something, right? And again, it's not incorrect, but in this specific case, it is better to use the present perfect continuous, all right? We're going to see that later on. Right now, for the present continuous, only the present continuous, not the present perfect continuous, it is good to mention, right, that it's happening this month, it's happening this week, it's happening this year, right? And it's good. But to mention that something started in the past and it continues up to this point, all right? And you say since, here again, it is going to be better to say, I have been like doing my mistake over there, right? My homework or my English, right? Homework, and you continue with the rest of the idea. Okay, why? Because you talk about the beginning of something in the past that continues into the present perfect and the present perfect continuous, they are always the best option. Okay, here we have details with capital letter. Here we have exactly the period over there and the period over there, and everything seems to be working good after that. So that's my only detail, Dina. Now I'm going to ask you two things. Right now, right at this exact moment, what is one thing that you are doing and one thing that you are not doing, but right now, at this very moment, what do you say?
Uh, I am sitting in no, um
Yes, it was good. It seemed to be.
I am sitting in I am sitting on my chair. Um,
Yes.
I I am not eating food.
Okay, yes, yes, very simple. And that's what we need. Great. Okay, no observations. It is great. I'm sitting on my chair, right? I'm sitting in front of my computer. I'm listening to the class, right? Or I'm speaking, I'm this, and that, right? Yes. And again, this is good because your examples are showing the second usage that most people at the beginning don't know. But I believe that again, you are working in this way good. Okay, because again, this is good, the last one is good, number 4. But if you want to mention since the beginning of something in the past, the best option is going to be the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. But that's it. I don't know if you have any questions, because with that we are closing and ended up this lesson, because this was only a review for that. And we're going to go to the next one, because in A7, Gina, in this course A7, a lot of the things that we're going to see here is like a review of previous courses, of basic courses, so that we know that you remember that you know how to use it to start learning more complex things. So what do you say? Do you have any questions up to this point? Let me know, please. No? All right.
No teacher.
Okay, good. So again, anytime you
Teacher,
can let me know.
I think the example in the emphasis, the action
Yes. What part? Let me know, please.
in the uses is it's about the happening now or in period of time. In the other
Yes.
is the emphasis activities. I don't understand.
In number 4, yes,
Mm,
when in
No,
number
no, no,
4,
no. Que los usos, el último ese que es como tipo de énfasis en la actividad, algo así.
oh, yes.
No, no, no.
Okay, that's actually the same as in number the second one. Okay, so things that are happening right now, things that are happening for a specific period of time, and to put emphasis on an activity. All right, so you don't need to mention, for example, the period of time, but if this semester, for example, and you don't mention that you're learning English, you can say in a specific way, okay, not a specific, and a specific, that you are learning, all right, English. Okay, yes, I know that because I'm learning English. Okay, and you say I'm learning English, you don't say I learn English, and you're not learning English at that exact moment, right? You're learning English. So you're putting emphasis on the activity of learning English, and that's why you know that, right? Again, the example can be on the street, right? Someone says, I don't remember, not on the street, right? In your group of friends, right? And you are discussing about something, and they mention an English word, right? And they say, yes, we use this in Spanish, right? They say we use this a lot, but I don't remember the meaning of that word. And you say it means this, right? And they say, how do you know? Because I'm learning English, right? So you're putting emphasis on the activity of learning English to show why you know the meaning of that word. Okay, so if you analyze, it's not different. It's just that you don't mention the period of time, and you're not doing that right now. Okay, that's why it's a third category. You're doing something right now, present continuous. You are mentioning the specific period of time, this month, this week, you're doing something, present continuous. You want to put emphasis on the idea that you're doing something, and that's why you know something in a specific, or that's why something is true, then also you use the present continuous. Okay, you don't say again there because I learned English, because that's like a routine that is not that incorrect, but it doesn't give the emphasis as when you say because I'm learning English. All right, it's just that I don't know if that helps understand the third one, Gina. Let me know, please.
O sea que for example, in your example, I study English is equals and I am study English. The difference is the emphasis in the activity.
Exactly, and you need a good excuse. Let's say, Gina, a good excuse to use that in the present continuous. Why? Because in most of the cases, the best idea is to say what you said. I study English, right? Because you're describing your routine, right? I go to the gym every day. I study English. I study this career, this major, so it's correct. But if you want to put emphasis in a very specific situation, not every time, Gina, right? You're not going to be saying every time, yes, I'm learning English, I'm studying this and that. No, if you don't want to put emphasis, you don't need to do it. You can simply say, I study this, I learn this, I do this, and I do that, right? But what you're saying is correct. You can do it as long as you want to put emphasis on that activity, as long as that verb can be used in the continuous form. Remember, not all verbs can be used in the continuous form. If you can do it, then yes, that's a possibility, Gina. So that's correct. All right, let me know, please, if there's anything else. Okay,
Okay.
good. So let's continue. Again, actually, let's finish because that's the first lesson. It was a very short one that we couldn't finish yesterday because we spent time on the introduction to the platform, to Pearson, to Google Classroom, right? So that's it for present continuous and simple present. Now, in the next one, in the next lesson that we have here, Gina, that is suggestion, it's also very simple, but it's worth knowing, and we have to reinforce this knowledge. So I'm going to ask you a question, Gina. Gina, how do you give suggestions in English? We have at least 3 or 4 different structures that we can use to give suggestions. So what do you say? How do you give suggestions in English?
Mm, Let's uh, le, let's do it. Or why why don't you why don't you work with me? Or why not coming? No, how about coming? Uh, no, how about watching the movie? Or why not? Why not? Um, why not go go to the party? So go to the party.
Okay, thank you very much, Gina. All right, there you go. I believe that perhaps you worked on that on Pearson before. You were reviewing this, and that's great. Okay, if you do that, the lessons we're going to cover are going to be very simple. Okay, what you did now, I believe that good, very few, all right, very few people are going to do that, and that you can do it is great. All right, yes, so you know the lesson. That's the lesson. Very simple. We can use let's, we can use why don't, right? And the alternative is the one that you were saying, right? Why not doing something? But we're only going to use here why don't. Then how about, but we are going to learn the difference between how about and what about, because they are not the same, right? So those are the ones we're going to work here. Great. Let's, right? The idea of let's is always for we, right? It's never for you. You don't say let's do this if you are not included in the plan, right? You have to be part of the plan if you want to say let's, because is this, right? In other words, you are saying the words in parentheses. So let's replace these 2 ideas, Gina. Everything, the example plus what you have in parentheses, please.
Let's go to the cinema. You and I should go to the cinema. Let's not eat pasta today. You and I should not eat pasta today.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, so we can use should as the model. But instead of saying you and I should go to the cinema because that sounds weird, that sounds unnatural, okay? That's not going to be common. I mean, it's not bad, but why are you going to say this if you can say this? Right here is let us, right? Let us go to the cinema, right? You and I should go to the cinema. And if it's negative, we only add not, but we always use the base verb, right? Let's go, let's eat. We don't say let's dancing, right? That's incorrect. We say let's go dancing, or let's dance, or let's sing, or let's go to the karaoke, or anything that you want to do with a person or with a group of people, or anything that you don't want to do, right? So let's and let's not. So this is very simple. Now you give me please suggestions, Gina. All right, for you and I, what can you suggest us to do in class? Tell me please one suggestion for us in class, and tell me one negative suggestion again for us in class, Gina. What do you say?
In class?
Yes, for example, right, you can say, let's learn about the future, right? That's a suggestion for you and I in class. Or you
Uh,
can say, let's not write sentences because I don't like it, right? So that's a negative suggestion for the 2 of us in class. So what do you say? One affirmative suggestion and one negative suggestion for this class.
uh, let's let's learn about pronunciation and let's not I don't know. I don't know. Let's not uh, uh,
Anything, or if you want, you can give me another affirmative suggestion, right? Something else that you want to learn or you want to do, right? You can say, let's practice, I don't know, right? Some reading, let's practice some conversations, right? You can, again, and I, of course, I'm going to take that into account, but right now it's more for practicing. So you can tell anything you want.
okay. Yeah. Let's uh, let's practice writing and let's practice uh, pronunciation in,
All
in,
right.
in the class.
In the class. Great. Okay, good. Good. That's great. And I'm going to take that into account. All right. Something that I usually do. And again, part of the practice, I know it's for practice, but also I'm going to do that because usually at the beginning, I don't give a lot of, let's say, emphasis to at this pronunciation, but I always make read and identify words like this one. All right. So we're going to be actually doing that, Gina, in a very little way. So, for example, we're going to read the words, right? For example, in let's practice, the last part should be more like a detailed S, right? Practice. And this is going to be like should, right? Like should. Okay, so I'm going to give you like ideas like that. But we're going to begin from the next part. All right, so it's good. And writing, yes, of course, I'm going to learn writing as well, right? To learn more about the commas, the semicolon, the colon, the dashes, and the quotation marks, and everything that we use in English. Okay, so good. That was great. That's let's Gina. Thank you. Now, don't. Why don't? And in this case, it's not always for us. It can be for you, right? So you can say, why don't you go to the park? You, not you and I, only you. That's a suggestion for only that person or that group of people, right? But if you say, why don't we? Of course, now you are included in that plan, right? And you have these two ideas. So please, Gina, we're also going to read these two examples plus the idea in parentheses.
Hmm. Why don't you watch that movie tonight? Why don't we watch that movie tonight? We or you should watch that movie tonight.
Okay, thank you. Right, the same idea, right? We should watch that movie tonight, or you should watch that movie tonight. So it depends if you say, why don't you, or why don't we? Right? So again, it can be for you as well, but it depends on you. So that's pretty simple. Now, how about and what about? Remember, they are different. So in this case, please, Gina, I'm going to ask you to read everything to understand the difference. Let's start with how about, the examples, and then what about, please.
Okay. How about to make a suggestion that I feel is best? How about going to the party tonight? How about we go to the party? Mm, what about to bring an objection or potential obstacle, obstacle uh, into consideration? What about the homework? If we go to the party, we won't be able to do it.
Thank you very much. So this word, right? You were not sure. It was good. The last attempt was good. Obstacle, right? The stress is in the first part. So obstacle, and that's this part, right? Is like call, like comfortable, right? Ball. It's like BOL, but anything that finishes in that CLE or comfortable like BLE, right? That LE is always like all, right? Obstacle, comfortable, right? Suitable. So like that. So let's repeat please one time this word, Gina.
Oh,
Obstacle.
obstacle.
Obstacle. Yes. So this is different, right? How about is for suggestion? But what about is for objection or potential obstacle? It means that here you tell me, right? How about going to the party tonight? And I say, yes, that's a great idea. But if you say, what about the homework? You're not giving a suggestion, right? No, you're saying, hey, but do you remember we have homework? So it's not a good idea to go to the party, right? We have homework. So how about suggestion? What about objection? Is to show the other elements, the other considerations before you can make a decision. All right, it's very important before making any decision to bring considerations with what about this and what about that. But again, not in the sense of suggestion, but in the sense of showing the limitations that you have. But that's it. With this, you're please going to tell me, I actually forgot the last part, but we're going to write, before writing, Gina, give me please one suggestion with how about, or actually two please. One with gerund, right? How about going to the party tonight? And one with the subject plus the base verb. How about we go to the party? And after giving me those two examples, Gina, give me please one objection, okay? But to give me the objection, you need to show me the context, okay? For example, you can say, my friends want to go to, my friends want to travel with me, all right? But I give them an objection, right? And you say, what about my pet, right? I cannot leave my pet. I have to take care of him, of her. That's why I think I'm not going to travel with you. All right, so that's an objection. So that's what you have to do now, please, Gina. Not writing yet, only speaking. Okay, only speaking. Give me, please, two suggestions with how about, and give me one example in which you would use what about. Let's do it, please. Or let me know if you have questions now. And again, speaking this time, please.
Okay. mm, my little sister said, how about we we play the Wally, or how about we go to the restaurant with our friends. The options, maybe I said I will say how about uh, the 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 our chores, if we go if we play the Wally with my friends, or we will go to the eat with our friends. We won't we won't do our chores.
Okay, good. Only one correction there. Remember, the suggestions are good, right? How about, how about? But in your objection, right, you don't say how about. I think you did it. It is going to be what about, right? What about the courses, or what about the activities we have at home, right? And everything else is good, right? So for your obstacle, for your objection, you're going to use what about, right? Yes, and everything else seems to be great. And also one correction, Gina, for sports, we use the for musical instruments, right? The piano, the guitar, but for sports, we are not going to use it. Okay, so for example, we're not going to say the soccer unless we give an example of the soccer is right, or the soccer that they play in England. That's one specific soccer, right? But if you mention about soccer in general, we don't say the soccer, we only say soccer, right? Soccer is the most right played sport in the world. And the same with volley, right? You are going to say, how about playing some volley or volley directly, right? Because if you say that is going to
Huh?
be incorrect in that case. Okay, so let me know, please, Gina, do you
Can
have
you hear me?
questions? Yes, I can hear you now.
I
Can you hear me now, Gina?
yes.
I Okay, so I think you had a question. Let me know, please. Were you able to listen to what I was saying? Okay, I cannot listen to you, Gina. I don't know. Please let me know. Were you able to hear to my explanation? Do you have any questions about it? Let me know, please.
Mm, no, teacher, I understand the how about this is about make a suggestion, and the difference the what about is to bring an objection or a potential obstacle.
Okay.
Mm, yes.
Ah, good, perfect. And that, well, let's repeat that word once again, please, Gina. Remember that even though we don't have physical stress in English, we have like stress in all the words in English, right? So here it is not going to be like obstacle, it is going to be like obstacle, right? The stress has to be in the first part. So let's repeat one more time, please, Gina. Obstacle.
Obstacle.
Obstacle, exactly. And one thing, Gina, the euro actually, right? I explained about the sports, right? Using the. Is it clear why we don't say the volley, or do you have questions about it? You're also going to let me know that, please.
The wali uh, is is saying the volleyball.
Uh-huh. And remember, right? It's incorrect if we say the volley, right?
Um,
Okay,
um,
we don't say the volley, we don't say the soccer, the basketball, right? No, we're going to say only, how about we play some volley, or how about playing volley? Okay, not the volley, because it's not correct to use the with sports. Only if you want to talk about a very specific thing. Okay?
is I no use the de sino solo wali.
Only volley, correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Uh-huh. Just that. Good, good. Now, I want to check some details in pronunciation as well. Gina, taking advantage because this lesson now it's done. We finished with the lesson. We're going to cover one more, okay? But I want you to read these words for me, okay? You're going to read this for me, Gina, these words. And this. All right. And this. I want to verify the usage of some details. And okay, those words over there. Actually, the last one, no, not yet. The last one, not yet. Only those three, please, Gina. Let's read those three words that you see over there.
Okay. Comfortable, interesting, and schedule.
Okay, thank you. Now, some corrections, all right? So this is also going to help you with all the other words that you have in English. If you have like a vowel in the middle of a lot of consonants, okay, M, F, R, T, okay, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant. So if you have that, you are not going to read the vowel, okay? You're not going to say comfortable, right? That's not going to be correct. Here, the stress is here and you eliminate that. And also this. So you're going to say comfortable, right? Comfortable. And this, like, instead of table is table, table, just like T and ball at the end. Okay, so let's repeat that, please, like comfortable.
Comfortable.
Comfortable, exactly. Exactly. It's very common, again, the mistake when we say comfortable. All right, it's only going to be comfortable. The same here. It
No se
is
pronuncia la
interesting.
A.
No, very, you pronounce the that a, but like in the English way, and very, very subtle, like comfortable, like to that t is the a. Okay, but you don't say a, you don't say comfortable or comfortable. It's more like comfortable, comfortable. Okay, like to, and the a is that word. It's not an open a. You only use an open a if you say, for example, here, right, practice. This is an open a, practice. But this is not an open a. This is going to be like an almost muted and a closed a, like all right, so that's why it sounds like comfortable, comfortable. Okay, so the I is there, but it's not open, it's closed. Okay, so let's repeat please one more time and let me know if you have more questions. Okay, let's repeat it please, Gina, one more time, this word, comfortable.
Comfortable. No.
Okay.
Comfortable.
Comfortable, yes, comfortable. This, now the stress is not interesting, no, it's going to be interesting. And also here, right, you don't say interest, you say interesting, so in the stress in the first part, interesting, right, interesting. Here you pronounce this e, but no this e. Okay, this is again like tr. So let's repeat this also, please. And again, remember we have a G at the end. It's going to be very unnoticeable. Okay, so interesting, interesting. Let's repeat that, please, Gina.
Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting, exactly. This is like tr, right? Tr, interesting, yes. And this is like, actually here you have two options, Gina. But I'm going to teach you the American option, right? Because some people and in some regions they call this also like shuttle, which is acceptable. But in the American English that you need for the TOEFL, Gina, it's going to be schedule, right? Schedule. So this is going to be like a very strong k, schedule, and this like L, schedule. So let's repeat that, please, Gina. Schedule.
Schedule.
Schedule. Great. So comfortable, interesting, schedule. Let's repeat now the three words together, please.
Okay. Comfortable, interesting, and schedule.
Great, thank you very much. All right, so again, I wanted to show that because of the problems with obstacle. So that's why also, right, we say obstacle, comfortable, interesting, schedule. And if you analyze, they have the stress in very specific parts. In most of the long words, is like in the first or second syllable, right? Comfortable, interesting, obstacle. In some of them, like schedule is in the middle because it's only like three parts. But if you have longer ideas, it's going to be like that. But good, that was something extra, Gina. Right now, in the 10 minutes, we have 10 minutes, we are going to work on the introduction to a new lesson, because that was just reviewing. These lessons are very short, Gina. So we have to cover them one by one, but they are easy and fast to cover. So now, to start with this new lesson, Gina, we start today, but we're going to finish the lesson tomorrow. All right, I believe we're going to finish tomorrow, but let's see how it goes. First, what do you know about true and enough, Gina? What do you know about these two words?
The two is about negative. It's a negative. For example, you 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 don't ride the car because you are too young.
Good, that
And
was a good example.
thank you. And the enough is is about como que suficiente. Is for example, you are you should you should you should play play football. You is very you are very athlete and you very enough young. Is a enough is a positive use, or the use is a positive.
Yes. The example can change a little bit, Gina. Okay, the second example needs to change a little bit. I'm going to show you how. But what you're saying is correct. True in this case, right? Not always. True can be positive in other ideas, right? When you say, I like pasta too, right? In that case, it is affirmative and positive, right? But in the examples that we have to cover here, you are 100% correct. Here too is negative, yes. And enough is affirmative, perfect. That is good. The example, right? You are too drunk to drive. That's a great example, right? That's a very, very good example. But in the second one, I understand the idea, but if you say very, right, very enough, right, then young, no. If we have rules, for example, if you want to use young, we're not going to say enough young. We're going to say young enough. Okay, you are young enough to, I don't know, okay, go to that
Yes.
party, right? Good, but again, it was great. But you can use it in a different order for a different situation. Gina, for nouns, you can say, I don't have enough money. Okay, I don't have enough time. That's correct. Okay, I don't have enough money to go. I don't have enough time to study more. That's noun. Time, enough. Time, noun, sorry. Money, noun. But young, old, tall, short, beautiful, right? Those are adjectives. And with adjectives, we don't say enough young again. It's going to be young enough. Okay, so young enough, correct. But enough money, correct. Okay, and that's what we're going to learn today. All
Because
right?
the money is a noun.
It's a noun, exactly.
Okay.
All right, good. There you go. Yes, and your explanation was great. So you know the meaning. And even in English, if you want to say the word that you use, Gina, you can use in English a similar word, sufficient. Okay, enough is sufficient. And you can say the verb is suffice. So it suffices. So when something suffices what you want, is enough. It's sufficient. When something is moderation, negative, enough, it's sufficient, right? It suffices, and that's why it is positive. All right, so good. Two and enough, they indicate degree, right? They modify adjectives, adverbs, and nouns. But again, we don't care about the theory. If you want, you can learn the theory with me. But we care more about how we apply this. But I don't know if you have questions, Gina. I think you have one question. Let me know, please.
What is the degree?
Look, degree is like how much something is going to be. Two has a high degree of something, right? It's too hot. So the degree is very high. Enough is a medium degree, all right? It's in the middle. So it's like what you need. And when you have a low degree of something, it means that it's not happening a lot. I'm just giving the idea, right? Or the translation that you must have it in the chat, right? But it's like even that in some cases. Okay, so they indicate the degree of a word. Okay, so once again, too much has a high degree, enough has a medium degree, not enough has a low degree of something. Okay, that's more or less. So in other words here, Gina, you are giving like details to specify how much of something you have. For example, right, young. Young, if you say I'm young, Gina, that's like a normal sentence. So the degree is neutral. Okay, the degree is neutral. I'm young. If you say I'm too young, the degree is exaggeration. Okay, it has an exaggeration as a degree because you are too young to be in this party. You have to be at least 30 years old to enter the party. But the degree of how young you are is not enough for the party. Okay? The degree, if you say I'm young enough to be in this party, it means that in this party only young people can be, and your degree of how young you are is good for this requirement, right? But if you say, I'm not young enough to be a part of this, right? It means that you don't have the degree, you don't have the characteristics of how young you are to be part of that party. Okay, so that's more or less the degree, Gina. It's not only young, you can be too young, you can be young enough, you can be not young enough. And those three cases indicate the degree of any adjective that you can have. I don't know if that helps a little bit, Gina. Let me know, please. Or if you have more
Uh,
questions or comments, also let me know.
I think un grado, digamos, ¿no? Joven, joven, muy joven con tú, digamos, como que eres muy joven para algo, o soy suficientemente joven, como que al tope de lo que para poder entrar a un lugar, digamos. No
Yes,
sé
that's
qué,
correct.
algo así, digamos. I am 80, 18 years old, and I I can, oh, yes, I can go to the party.
Huh?
Is enough. It's I am enough young.
Yes, young enough, right? You are young enough.
Okay, I
Okay,
understand.
exactly. Good. Yes, yes, that was a great explanation, Gina. Yes, you get it. That's the degree. Okay, that is the degree of the words that you can have. And you use to, and you use enough to describe that degree. Okay, so remember, I told you, today we start with this, but we're going to finish tomorrow. All right, because actually this is the third lesson we're covering. We are doing pretty good, all right? But we are going to need more time. We're going to read these slides. We are going to write some examples, Gina, and with that we finish today. Okay, so let's read please this slide, Gina. 2.
Two. Uh, two. two means more than what is needed. It's related to the something exaggerated. He is too tired to play soccer. That box is too big. The exam was too hard.
Great. Thank you, Gina. So as you said, right, here it feels that negative meaning, right? Too tired to play soccer, so I cannot play soccer. The box is too big, so I need a smaller box. The exam was too hard, so I couldn't pass the exam. So negative, negative, negative. Okay, just one correction, Gina, in your pronunciation. Instead of h over here, you need the j, j. So it's going to be exaggerated, exaggerated. So let's repeat that word, please.
Exaggerated.
Exaggerated. Great. So to finish
Exaggerated.
today, please, Gina, to finish today, go to the file, go to the document on Google Classwork, and please only write 2 examples. Okay, they can be complex examples, they can be short examples. Up to you. Show me that you can use 2 in 2 examples by writing them, please. Just that. Finish that. We're going to have maximum 2 minutes. We check and we finish with that.
Okay, it's the 2, no?
2, correct. Only
yeah.
2.
Okay.
Good. So we check in 2 minutes, please. All right, so we are with the 2 minutes. Well, in 3, 2, 1, and that's the 2 minutes. So I'm going to the file. We check and we read that, Gina, and with that we finish today. So let's read, please, what we got. Okay, you have them over there. Let's read those 2 ideas, please, Gina.
I read. Okay.
Yes, please.
I think I did not do well my exam because the exam was too difficult. We should go home because the weather is too cold.
Thank you very much. Good. Only one little detail here, you're going to say that you didn't do good in your exam in this case. All right, I didn't do well in my exam, in my test, because the exam was too hard. All right, you do well or you don't do well in something. Okay, then well, actually it depends, but in this case, as is the exam, it is going to be in the exam, right? In the test. And then we should go home because the water is too cold. Yes, I believe that the examples are perfect. Only that little correction over there, and yes, we don't use commas over here because we don't use comma with because, and everything else seems to be great. If you want to be very formal, you're going to use that over here. Okay, I think that I did not do well in my exam because the exam was too difficult. Why? Because this is formality. It's not incorrect, okay, that you say, I think I did not. It is perfect. But for example, in the TOEFL, if you're going to write something and you want to be formal to have a higher score, it's better that you always include that because it is going to be formal. Okay, just that. That's a
Okay.
recommendation, and this is a correction. So, do you have any questions to finish with that, Gina? Let me know, please.
I think no, teacher.
Okay, good. It means that with that, we're finishing now, Gina. Tomorrow, we're going to continue working with two and enough. But again, it's going to be to complement. We finish that and we go to the next lesson. All right. As always, I'm sending please the poll. You can see it now. Let's answer to those questions, please. And with that, again, we are done. I hope you have a good night. And I hope we can see each other tomorrow for the next class, Gina.
Okay, teacher. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye,
Good
teacher.
night.
Bye.